Hey everyone, it's Blake from MST Powerlifting, sharing with you the ins and outs of powerlifting competitions. We will cover rules, what to wear, what to expect, and how to execute each lift properly. Let's begin with some simple rules. In your typical powerlifting competition, each competitor can choose between full power, push-pull, squat only, bench press only, or deadlift only. Full power competitors will be judged in the squat, bench press, and deadlift. Push-pull competitors will be judged in the bench press and the deadlift. Each competitor will have 3 attempts on each competition lift, with the competitor trying to reach as heavy of a weight as possible on each attempt. The first attempt is called an opener. A general rule for choosing an opener is choosing a weight that is easy for you but heavy enough to prepare you for your next attempts. When choosing your opener and following attempts, please keep in mind that you can only go up in weight unless you missed your first attempt. Then you can stay at the same weight. You cannot go down in weight under any circumstance. Openers are handed in at the weigh-ins before the competition. A common question I get from new lifters is, do I have to do all 3 attempts in a row? You do not do all 3 in a row. You're going to be in a group of lifters, so everyone in the group gets to go, so you get a break in between each of your attempts. Weigh-ins for a powerlifting competition are typically the day before or the day of before the competition. The weight on the scale will dictate the weight class the lifter will compete in. Once weighed in, each lifter will sign a competition waiver and turn in their openers. All competitors under the age of 18 will need a parent or guardian to sign a minor waiver. After all competitors are weighed in and registered, a rules meeting will commence before the competition starts, where all the rules will be gone over one more time. Lifters will then be divided into multiple flights or groups of lifters based on their openers. This means that you will compete against all sorts of lifters, different ages, different sizes, but all around the same strength if you're in the same flight. Once lifters are divided into their flights, the meet will run as follows. Flight A will warm up in the warm-up area until the competition starts. Once Flight A has started on the main platform, Flight B will start warming up in the warm-up area until Flight A has finished on the main platform. Then Flight B will compete on the main platform. A short intermission will commence between each competition lift. Flight sheets are always posted before the meet begins, so you can know which flight you're in and what position you are in your flight. Powerlifting meets are traditionally run as squat first, then bench press, then deadlift. If I'm someone who's doing push-pull, I only have to worry about the bench press and the deadlift portion, and I can just sit back and watch the squat. If I'm somebody who's only doing a single lift, I only have to worry about the single lift I signed up for. I do not have to warm up or worry about any of the other lifts. Before we get into a breakdown of each lift and exactly what is expected, we should go over what we should wear to a powerlifting meet. Your 2 equipment divisions that are available as of right now is Raw, which is a belt, wrist wraps, elbow sleeves, and knee sleeves, or Classic Raw, which is a belt, wrist wraps, elbow sleeves, and knee wraps. Some equipment rules that are important to know is deadlift straps are not permitted for use, deadlift hooks are not permitted for use, slingshots are not permitted for use, elbow wraps are not permitted for use, knee wraps are not permitted for use during the deadlift. If you're in Classic Raw, you can use them during the squat. Chalk will be provided at the meet. Baby powder will be permitted for use in the competition, but must be applied away from the lifting platforms. You would only use this during deadlift. Baby oil, jellies, grease, etc. are not permitted for use in the competition. Deadlift socks are required for all lifters with no exceptions. During the deadlift portion of the meet, knee-length socks must be worn. They must cover the top of the calf, ending just below the knee joint. Common questions I get are, why would I need a singlet and why do I need deadlift socks? So for the singlet is very important for powerlifting as it allows the judges to see how low you're squatting, if your butt is staying on the bench during bench press, and other things like that. The singlet is worn to where you can see the knee and the hip crease. So that's very important for squat. Say if I was wearing super long basketball shorts and went for a squat, it's kind of hard to really tell depth. So it's actually for your advantage to wear a singlet, not only for squat, but for bench press and the other lifts as well. Now, why would I wear deadlift socks? Deadlift socks are worn to protect your shin during a deadlift. You may have seen a lot of people accidentally cut open their shins while they're deadlifting because the bar is sharp or anything like that. We're trying to keep every lifter safe at all these competitions. Deadlift socks aren't really anything special. You don't have to order something that's called a deadlift sock. Just soccer socks or just super tall socks work. Anything that you can get pretty much anywhere works. So they don't have to be deadlift branded socks or anything like that. Okay, now it's time to actually get into the performance of the lifts. So we're going to start with the squat. The lifter must wait for the judges and/or platform crew to say platform ready. The lifter may set up under the bar as they wish. The bar should be held horizontally across the shoulders with the hands and fingers gripping the bar. The lifter may not hold the collars, sleeves, plates at any time during the performance of the lift. Each lifter has 1 minute to begin the lift or unrack the bar. Once the lifter walks the bar out from the rack, they must assume their squat stance with knees locked, show complete control of the bar, and wait for the squat command before lowering the bar. Failure to do so will result in a failed lift. The lifter must bend the knees and lower the body until they break parallel, which means the hip joint is lower than the top of the kneecap. Any reverse of direction during the downward descent is considered an attempt. Only one descent per attempt is allowed. On the way up, the bar must stay going up. If the bar goes down and goes back up at any point, it is a failed lift. No double bouncing is allowed. If the bar stalls and goes up again without going downward at all, the lift is still good. Once the lift has returned to an upright position with knees locked, the lifter must hold position to show control until a rack command is given. Failure to obey this command will result in a failed lift. If at any point the lifter cannot finish a squat, the platform crew will help you stand up and take the bar into the rack. Any dumping of the bar off the back during the squat will constitute an immediate disqualification from the competition. No exceptions. We want to keep our spotters, loaders, judges, everyone safe at the meet, including our lifters. Now that we know the rules, let's take a look at a properly executed squat in a powerlifting meet.
Smoke show! Great job, Tim. Next up,
He did a great job of following all the necessary rules for the squat. Now let's take a look at another example.
Nice and easy. Here we go. Let's get behind her. She's got to get this one. She's got it. Let's go. Start!
Another fantastic example of a properly executed squat. She did a great job of waiting for the commands. Whether it was hard or not, she did wait for them. Now let's move on to the bench press. Lifters may ask the platform manager for a lift-off or bring their own lift-off person. The person who lifts off must step off the platform before the head judge can begin commands. The lifter must wait for the judges and/or platform crew to say platform ready. The lifter may set up on the bench as they wish. Each lifter has 1 minute to begin the lift or unrack the bar. The lifter must start the lift with their butt on the bench. It cannot come off at any time during the lift. Once the lifter takes the bar out from the rack, they must wait for the start command before lowering the bar. Failure to do so will result in a failed lift. When the bar touches the lifter's chest, the lifter must pause the bar on their chest to show control of the bar and wait for the press command before pressing the bar off the chest. Failure to wait for the command will result in a failed lift. On the way up, the bar must stay going up. If the bar goes down and goes back up at any point, it is a failed lift. If the bar stalls and goes up again without going downward at all, the lift is still good. Once the bar has reached full lockout, the lifter must hold it there to show control until a rack command is given. Failure to obey this command will result in a failed lift. Let's see a couple examples.
Let's go, Depot. 225 pounds. Lift is good. Smoke shoulder lift for Depot on his second attempt.
That was a fantastic example of a properly executed bench press. Let's see another one.
Judges say, lift is good for Preston on his second attempt.
Now that we know the rules in squat and bench press, now let's move on to the deadlift. The lifter must wait for the judges and/or platform crew to say platform ready. The lifter may set up as they wish. Each lifter has 1 minute to begin the lift. The lifter must look at the head judge to make sure their arm is up, signaling that the bar is ready. The lifter must lift the bar in an upward motion without the bar going down at any point in the lift. If the bar goes down and comes back up, it is a failed lift. If the bar stalls and goes up again without going downward at all, the lift is still good. The lifter cannot hitch the deadlift or ramp the bar on their knees or legs. Once the bar is at lockout, the lifter must show control and wait for the down command. Failure to do so will result in a failed lift. After the down command is given, the lifter cannot drop the bar from lockout. They must lower the bar in a controlled manner. Failure to obey this command will result in a failed lift. Now that we know the rules, let's watch a few examples.
Alrighty, here we go for the deadlifts here today. Mean Gene starting us off with 205 pounds on the bar. The first deadlifts here after 2024 MST Independence Day Powerlifting Meet. This is good for Mean Gene on her first attempt here, leading off deadlifts.
You did a great job following all the commands, as well as setting the bar down in a controlled manner. Let's watch another example.
Next up we have Lisa with 205 pounds on the bar. Project, listen what you Solid deadlift there from Lisa.
Hopefully this video cleared up any questions you may have had about how a powerlifting meet runs or what to wear or anything like that. If you have any more questions, please contact me at McCormick Strength Training on Facebook or at Blake McCormick on Instagram. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram for information on the next MST Powerlifting meet, and we hope to see you on the platform.